Hi there, I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein, and I have recipes that may have their roots in recipes that are some 4,000 years old. I'm putting veggies and vinegar and spices, with the results being pickles, today on SoFlo Taste. It will be a big deal. How fun is that? Welcome all, I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. Welcome to the Goya Kitchen in the Culinary Lab at Florida Education Institute in Coral Gables. Do y'all like pickles? Well, few don't. Sometimes spicy, sometimes sweet, but always pickled perfection. But have you ever made pickles? Well, maybe you think making pickles is complicated and difficult. Well, stay where you are because they're neither. So let's get pickling. I want to explain the reason why I decided on pickles today. And all started with this beautiful bowl of miso soup that I'm starting to have this morning. I just came from a beautiful culinary trip to Japan. And when I had Japanese breakfast, it rocked my whole world. And my favorite part, aside from, of course, the miso codfish and all the other goodies, were the pickles. The pickles made me crazy, and I kept asking for more. We would go to markets and pick up pickles, and my son would just eat the pickle and nothing else on the plate. And so we ended up just being so amazed by the delicious assortment of pickles. So the first two pickles I'm going to teach you today are the part that we had for Japanese breakfast. So I'm going to start with a cucumber pickle, and I have my amounts written down to make sure that I don't mess this up. So the way that I learned how to make pickles the Japanese style was actually to make them all in plastic bags. And it's actually quite easy and quite clean. You don't really mess up your kitchen. But one thing I did love, you can find your favorite type of cucumber to make a pickle. Now, you don't want to use the original type of a cucumber because the seeds are just really big. It's just really a lot of water. And the smaller the cucumber or the more seedless the cucumber is, the better your pickle is going to be. So to get started, you're going to take something to kind of, I hate to say beat, but to hit the cucumber ever so gently. So this is a rolling pin, obviously, but don't use the force of the rolling pin. You're just going to want to delicately tap on the cuke, and that's just going to obviously break it like it did there. Maybe we'll be a little more gentle on the next one. I don't really mind if they break. And the next thing we're going to do, we're going to use a little salt to roll the cucumber. And this is kind of the first curing method that we're doing with the salt. All right, so you do that. And then you're going to want to just rinse off the cucumbers afterwards to make sure that you have the perfect amount of salt. And let's pretend that these are rinsed. Once they are, you're going to go ahead and cut them in a bias cut. So you start off by getting rid of both little ends, and then this is a bias cut, down like so. You just spin it over and then keep cutting bias cuts as you spin the cucumber around. They're like little angled cuts. All right. Even though this is still salted, I'm going to add this to the mix. It's not going to hurt it. Let's go ahead and put these down below. So let me tell you what goes into our beautiful cucumber pickle. We're going to do ginger julienne. So this is fresh ginger that's been peeled and sliced thin on a mandolin. And then I'm just going to turn it this way and slice really thin slices of the ginger to go into the bag. All right, the next thing would be Thai chilies, and it's up to you if you want to use them, how many you want to use, but basically you're just going to cut them into little rings, and we're going to keep the seeds in and everything. Just little slices of Thai chili. Be careful with your hands with this, everybody, to get the seeds on those fingers. Now there is a way to do this seedless if you don't want the heat, which in the Japanese culture, I never had a spicy cucumber pickle. Is basically to push out most of the seeds. With your fingers, you can pretty much shake them out, like so. Then you can shake them out and slice it. So it's up to you if you want to have the seed or if you don't want to have the seed. I'll leave that up to y'all. All right, next. Let's go ahead and put this here because this is our mixture. Now to this I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of salt. So we're going to use kosher salt for this. 1, 2. Next we're going to take sugar and do 2 teaspoons of sugar. The next thing we're doing is 1 teaspoon of vinegar. This is rice wine vinegar, just so you all know. You're going to want to add more. I always want to add more, but the truth is, with the Japanese cuisine, the less you put in, the better, because you taste the delicious ingredients. 1 teaspoon of soy sauce. And finally, 1 teaspoon of sesame oil. And they didn't do this, but I loved seeing sesame seeds in it, so these can probably go afterwards or before, it doesn't really matter. Let's go ahead and make sure this gets really well mixed. Now this doesn't take very long to pickle a cucumber. I would say the less time the better. If I had a choice really between half an hour and an hour, I would always choose a half an hour because you want them to remain really nice and crisp. They don't have that much going on here, but the flavor will inject into it. And so we'll fold it over like so, get it into a cooler, and begin the pickling process. Come right back. We have tons of pickles. I have Mexican pickles and homey pickles, and anyway, I have pickles. Come right back because I got more turkey pickle recipes.
Come back to SoFlo Taste from the Goya Kitchen at the Culinary Lab at Florida Education Institute, here on Local 10. It's a Milam's Markets Minute. Here's Melinda Harper.
So we all know that Milam's has a wonderful wine selection, the winery, but you guys have got great beer selection too. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we have a big selection of course, American beers, international beers from Germany, but our bread and butter are really our local beers from a lot of breweries in South Florida. And this big trend of non-alcoholic beer. We have a huge selection of zero alcohol, non-alcoholic beer. So if you're pregnant or just not into drinking, it's a good way to get the flavor of beer without actually drinking alcohol.
But I did notice your seltzer section here.
Yes, we have quite an assortment of flavored drinks with vodka, rum, tequila. One of my favorites is Casa Azul. They're just great for summertime, and you don't have to make a drink yourself. You just pop open the can and it's a flavorful, fruity drink.
So if you're looking to buy some non-alcoholic beer, some regular beer, or maybe a seltzer, head out to a Milam's near you. And if you can't get to a Milam's, you can still buy your beer and wine online?
Online and get it delivered to your door.
Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. There is archaeological evidence that the Mesopotamians pickled vegetables in vinegar as far back as 4,000 years ago. So it's hard to believe there's anything new on the pickling scene, but stick with me as I try. So, have you ever heard of a pickled avocado? Maybe not, right? So, it's a really quick pickle. Basically, what you're doing is you are giving the avocado just a touch more texture, a lot of flavor, but you gotta be quick with it. You gotta eat it within about 20 to 30 minutes, and it has to be really beautifully cold, and it will be delicious. So, I already peeled it just now and sliced some avocado. I basically just cut it in half, took the peel off, sliced it up. I'm adding the avocado slices to this bag. To that, I will add just about a quarter of a lemon. You can use lime if you'd rather. A teaspoon of, again, rice wine vinegar. This time we're using mirin, which is sweet rice wine. It's added into a lot of Japanese recipes when sweetness is needed for balance. And then finally a teaspoon of soy into the bag. Now I'm definitely not going to mush this about too much, but I do want to mix it. So I'm just going to do a little shaky shake. And I'm going to bring this over here. Close the plastic, fold this over, and then we will put this in a cooler and allow that to macerate. The next recipe I'm going to teach you is one of mine that I've been using for a long time. We love pickled onions in our home. We eat them on tacos, we eat them on salads. We just love a pickle versus a raw onion. This is a bowl of julienne red onions right here. In this pot, I'm going to go ahead and turn on the heat to about a medium temperature. I'm going to add in a little bit of sugar, kosher salt, and a bay leaf. Just a couple of peppercorns, black peppercorns that have already been toasted in a dry pan. Then I'm going to take a cup and a half of water and a cup and a half of white vinegar. So it's equal parts water to vinegar. If you like your pickles to have a little more acid, like a higher level of acid, you can go ahead and add a little more vinegar to water. All good. You can go 2 to 1 if you'd rather. I like my pickles to be well balanced so that they're not too astringent. As a matter of fact, my favorite pickle, I think, of all pickles, which I haven't mastered yet, but when I do, I'll bring it on the show, is a half sour, a good deli pickle. I love it because it's not astringent at all, and it has a good amount of saltiness, but it happens to be that perfect crunch and that almost raw cucumber type of crunch that a cucumber to me should have and a pickle should have. So I love that pickle. Anyway, so go ahead and heat this up, and basically you're heating it not only to melt the sugar, right? And so the flavor of the sugar and the salt come together and melt into the vinegar water, but then when it's warm, we're gonna go ahead and pour it into the sliced onions, and then you let that cool to room temperature before putting it away. And if you're jarring any of these pickles today, make sure that you follow proper sealage in jarring and make sure that everything is really clean and just sterilized, because jarring is no joke. So if you're gonna do it, make sure you do it right. So this is all, I can tell that the vinegar is starting to almost come to a boil because I'm starting to choke, and that's really a telltale sign that our vinegar is really nice and hot. I can see that the sugar and the salt have almost completely melted. Let's go ahead and give that a couple stirs. And now that it's melted together, go ahead and pour that over your red onion. Now, this is a base to a lot of great pickles, and look how delicious and perfect they come out. So as they sit, they will turn more pink. That's where the color comes from. So these will take me about 24 hours to start turning that really vibrant color. And these are about a 4-day pickle only. I just made these at home. So I hope you enjoy them on all kinds of stuff. Go for it. Have some fun and go crazy. Come back for one more pickle recipe here on SoFlo Taste. And it's a doozy, my husband's favorite. We'll see what's cooking on SoFlo Taste right after this. Welcome Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. I'm here in Coral Gables in the Culinary Lab at Florida Education Institute. FEI's Culinary Arts program offers students like these a unique education that touches the international culinary fundamentals. In only months, students graduate from the FEI Culinary Arts program and can begin their new career in the dynamic Miami culinary scene. For more information, visit fei.edu/culinary-arts. Now back to some more big dill recipes. Okay, everyone, I'm going to teach you one of my favorite recipes. I make this at home a lot. This is a pickled jalapeno and carrot recipe. So I'm going to take some whole cloves of garlic and I'm just going to smash them. Not going to chop them at all. A little bit of olive oil goes into a pan. And we are going to gently, I would say, it's hard to say saute, because usually saute means a little more oil and a little more heat, but softly, and onions, and we're just going to soften them. Obviously, I'm not looking to soften the carrots too much because they will start breaking apart once they're in the vinegar, but we definitely just want to start the cooking process now. We're going to soften the onions a little bit as well, but again, with the vinegar and the attack with the marinade on the acid, it will also break down all of the ingredients that go into this. I'm going to go ahead and add the garlic. A few peppercorns, black peppercorns. Now, if you like white peppercorns or Szechuan peppercorns that do a really funny thing to your palate, you can use those as well. It's really up to you. Sometimes people love cloves or cumin goes into these recipes a lot, especially this style of pickled jalapeno would normally get either cumin seed or ground cumin. I'm going to add a little bit of dried oregano. And finally, a couple bay leaves. Let's go ahead and mix this up a little bit more. And it's already started to soften. So I'm going to add the jalapenos. So the best way to slice all this stuff up is using a Japanese mandolin, but they can be a little bit dangerous, so you have to use a guard, and if not, you can just use your hands. I am cutting the jalapenos. This is somewhere between 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch thick. Our carrots are just a little bit thicker because I like the crunch of a carrot. Again, up to you, up to interpretation. You can play with it as you wish. Adding all the jalapenos in here. Now, you can also add spicier chilies to this mixture if you'd like. So if I grow a lot of chilies, and if I had some habaneros right now, Scotch bonnets, I would probably break a couple down and put them in this mixture because my husband loves the flavor of a habanero. Maybe the heat of a jalapeno, but the flavor of a habanero. Habanero is not just about heat, it's also about flavor. So it flavors a lot of things. So we might add that as well. This is all heated through. I'm going to go ahead and add the same as I did earlier with the onions. We're going to add half vinegar, half water. Again, these recipes I made somewhat more basic, so you can make them at home and they're ingredients that you can easily find. However, if you like the flavor of apple cider vinegar more than the flavor of white vinegar, you can either add halfway there or all the way there. Now, I would never add a balsamic, let's just say, to pickle anything. It would mask the flavor of the beautiful vegetables. You want to be a little careful there, but a good either rice wine or champagne vinegar wouldn't be bad either. So I'm going to stir this around a little bit. We're going to have to add, obviously, our salt and sugar. And we're going to let the whole thing heat through, but we're not going to let this really boil. We're just going to let it turn until the jalapenos just start turning that kind of more navy green color from the brightness that they are right now. And as soon as they do, we're going to pour all this into a cooler bowl set it aside, let it come to room temperature like we do with all pickles, and then store in the refrigerator. When you come right back, we'll see how all of these pickles ended up. I can't wait to taste them with you, so come right back to SoFlo Taste here on Local 10. Stay tuned to SoFlo Taste. We'll be right back. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste, obviously with our pickles. Well, maybe not so obvious, right? Because I have some cool stuff going on. So this is the pickled cucumber. I think I might top it with a little more sesame after you guys go. Still so crunchy, a little spicy. Yum. This is our pickled avocado. So good. I can't wait for you guys to try that one. And then this is obviously the pickled onions you already saw, but check this out. These are the pickled jalapeños with onions and carrots. And it smells like escabeche. If you guys know what escabeche is, kind of smells like escabeche. It's so good. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I always have fun giving you recipes from my varied cooking career. I hope you keep these and use them, but remember, they are pickled, so they will keep.
Hey there, Michelle. Tomorrow we are in the office and we are going over some ways that you can improve your health and stay away from some things that take away from your health while you're in the office. Plus, we'll check out some of the latest technology in custom wheelchairs, and Dr. Sam Rasool wants to protect you from tight hamstrings with some simple solutions.
So Taste Buds, we'll see y'all next week. Goodbye and good taste. That was delightful.